Good evening.
Good evening, brother.
I'd like to welcome everyone out on this little bit of a chilly evening. We're kind of getting used to it, I guess, after the cold weather we've been through. I'm going to read a little bit in the first book of Samuel tonight. Actually, I'm going to read out of order a little bit. I'm going to read a verse in the second chapter and then finish up at the end of the first chapter. I'll give you a minute to find it. It's real familiar to you Bible readers, real familiar with Samuel and the birth of Samuel. The second chapter in the 20th verse said, "And Eli blessed Elkanah and his wife and said, The Lord give thee seed of this woman for the loan which is lent to the Lord. And they went unto their own home." Now I'm going to back up and read the first. Now you read that verse there in the second chapter, and it's kind of curious to me. It's a loan that was lent. And here we'll see a little bit about what happened. It says in the 24th verse of the first chapter, it says, "And when she had weaned him, she took him up with her with 3 bullocks and 1 ephah of flour and a bottle of wine, and brought him into the house of the Lord in Shiloh. And the child was young. And they slew a bullock and brought the child to Eli. And he said, O my Lord, as thy soul liveth, my Lord, I am the woman that stood by thee here, praying unto the Lord. For this child I prayed, and the Lord hath given me my petition which I asked him. Therefore also I have lent him to the Lord. As long as he liveth, he shall be lent to the Lord." And he worshiped the Lord there. There's just a few things that stood out to me there. Of course, Hannah had prayed to God for a son, and he had blessed her with that son. And she said, "If you'd bless me with his son, then I'll turn him back over to you. He would serve in the house of the Lord as long as he lived." And we see that's just what happened. When we read that verse in the second chapter, the Lord said He gave He had blessed them for the loan that was given which is lent to the Lord. So He blessed them because of their obedience. We see that prayers are answered. She prayed and God answered that prayer. And we also see that all that we have that we can give to God is what we've asked God for, and He's given to us to begin with. So there was a loan that was lent. I thought that's pretty interesting. So with that, we'll take prayer request.
Well, it's through Tim and Norma, I'm sure she needed to stay home with her tonight, take care of her surgery while she's going through. I'm sure she remembered in prayer that she recovers from these surgeries. Remember that room to be tonight. Just pray God come along, Holy Spirit, or the services afterwards.
All right, let's definitely remember that. Someone else? Yeah, let's definitely remember that. Would there be someone else? All right, let's certainly remember this. Someone else?
Ron, our great granddaughter, knows some lot of children
Let's remember these. Someone else? If not, let Terry, the first song, we'll come around for a word of prayer.
Page 345. 345. Living below in this whole sinful world, hardly a comfort can afford. Striving along to face temptation sore. Where could I go but to the Lord? Where could I go? Where could I go? Seeking a refuge for my soul. Needing a friend to save me in the end. Where could I go but to the Lord? Neighbors are kind, I love them everyone. We get along in sweet accord. But when my soul needs manna from above, where could I go but to the Lord? Where could I go? Where could I go? Seeking a refuge for my soul. Needing a friend to save me in the end. Where could I go but to the Lord?
Someone else need a request?
Never. Every member of people in the hospital, right? And just a normal member the other night. And people who don't have Jesus, or teenagers out there now, who have Jesus, they're just saved too. Hear them accept Christ, all drugs and all that stuff. But remember,
Father, we bow before you tonight, thanking you, God, for this opportunity to gather here down here. God, I thank you, Father, that you watch over our families.
This opportunity to be at your house, Lord.
Thank you, your blessing.
David, you bless us with God.
Do as you tonight.
Keeping everyone safe, Lord. I thank you for all the prayers that you answer for each God. As you remember her grandmother, Lord. Touch her body, Lord. Lord, I thank you for in your hands.
Stand by her side, we know for tonight.
God, it's the money with this thing, Lord.
We just pray for that.
Reach down here, bless this service, Lord. Bless the marriage and stand in the gate. Lord, use you in a mighty way.
We ask you, Father, for Brother Eddie tonight. God,
You lay upon his heart,
this
Lord.
congregation.
Lord, we ask you to remember our pastor and his wife, Lord.
Father,
Lord, heal well, Lord. Heal
we're up front.
Lord, we'll never fail to give you
We
the
ask you,
praise.
Father, that every way and obedience and everything is done.
We love you.
Thanks back to you. And ask these things in Jesus' precious and holy name. Amen.
Anybody got a song on their heart tonight? Testimony?
pieces before tomorrow. I'm so glad to know that I have you holding my hand as you only can hold it, whispering peace like no other can do. I won't worry for fame or fortune, just as long as I have you. Now when at last comes my time to cross over, and old Jordan's chilly water comes in view, well, it won't matter who's standing around me, Lord, just as long as I have you holding my hand as you only can hold it, whispering peace like no other can do. I won't worry for fame or fortune, just as long as I have you. I've walked with the Lord in sunshine and darkness. I cannot forsake His word or His great command. Temptations are great, God's love is still greater. God knows all about me, and God understands. Oh, God understands. He knows all about me, and He knows all my failures. He knows all my pain, and He's willing to help if we will just follow. God knows all about me, and God understands. I know of His love, and I know of His healing, and I know of His power He's given to man. But without faith in God, my life would be worthless. For God knows all about me. Yes, God understands. Oh, God understands. He knows all about me. He knows all my failures. He knows all my pain, and He's willing to help if we will just follow. God knows all about me. Yes, God understands.
Amen. Anyone else got anything? Velma? How's Damon? Do you know? You heard anything? Okay, now Monday, I talked to April's husband yesterday, and he had a real rough day Monday. He pulled tubes and feeding tubes and stuff out, so let's remember Damon. I just thought about that, so let's remember Damon tonight too, Damon Rutherford. No one else? Brother Eddie Hall.
Bless you, Eddie.
Bless you, preacher.
Dear, maybe this is a message I was supposed to preach tonight or something. I probably have more of an opening than I do a message tonight. You're just going to have to bear with me, I will share this with you. Kenny, I'm glad you're here tonight because Kenny was teaching Sunday school Sunday, and I'm getting a little bit of reading feedback or something. He was teaching Sunday school Sunday and talking about training up a child in the way that they should go, and they wouldn't depart from it. And he said something to the effect of, I was made to go to church. And he laughed at that, and God, I thought that was a little back. How many here were made to go to church when they were growing up? All of us. Kevin, you didn't seem too happy about that. Not back then, right? I remember growing up, 410 East Page Street, just down the road, getting up on Sunday mornings, and Mom made us come to church. And on Sunday mornings, every Sunday morning, we were made to come to church, and on Monday mornings, we were made to go to school. Because she knew what was best for me. And now, I've heard people say, well, you make your kids go to church, you're just going to turn them away from God. I don't think that's the case. I really don't think that's the case at all. We're honoring whether we like it or not. So the more church we get, the better off we're going to be. So why would we not bring our kids to church? Why wouldn't we not make our kids go to church? But I want to read in Isaiah 43, just starting at the first verse, and I just have a couple things that I'm going to share with you. We're really only going to be up here for a few minutes unless God really gets a hold of me, and I'm up here for an hour, which I wouldn't put it by him, but I'll mind him tonight and do what I can, and we'll share this thought with you in Isaiah 43. If you want to stand with us, you can do that. We're going to read 1 to 7. It says, "But now, thus saith the Lord that created thee, O Jacob, and he that formed thee, O Israel, fear not, for I have redeemed thee. I have called thee by thy name, thou art mine. When thou pass through the waters, I will be with thee, and through the rivers, they shall not overflow thee. When thou walkest through the fire, thou shalt not be burned, neither shall the flame kindle upon thee, for I am the Lord thy God, the Holy One of Israel, thy Savior. I gave Egypt for the ransom, Ethiopia and Seba for thee. Since thou wast precious in my sight, thou hast been honorable, and I have loved thee. Therefore will I give men for thee, and people for thy life. Fear not, for I am with thee. I will bring thy seed from the east, and gather thee from the west, and I will say to the north, give up, and to the south, keep not back. Bring my sons from far, and my daughters from the ends of the earth, even every one that is called by my name, for I have created him for my glory. I have formed him, yea, I have made him." You can be seated. When Kenny said that Sunday morning, he said, I was made to go to church. I didn't hear the fact that his mom and dad made him go to church. What I heard when I was sitting back there was, God created me for a purpose, and that was to worship him. God made me come to church.
He made me to come to church. That is my purpose. In Genesis, the first chapter of Genesis, in the 27th verse, of course I have to flip through all this other stuff to get there. Maybe I should have bookmarked it after all. In the 27th verse, so God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. So from the very beginning of time, God made us in his image. We're supposed to be a reflection of God. We're supposed to worship God, and that's exactly why he created us for. When in Romans, the first chapter in the 20th verse, and it took me a minute to realize this, it says, for the invisible things of him is manifest in them, for God has showed. Let me back up here. I can't read anymore. Maybe I should get some reading glasses. For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they are out without excuse. And it took me a minute to kind of figure out what that was. I had to dig into it, and it's talking about the universe. God created all this stuff from the very beginning. He created the earth, he created the stars, everything that we can see, but none of it gave him glory. None of it worshiped him, but it was without excuse because that wasn't its purpose. The purpose of the universe is so we can look up to it and just see how great God is. And that's who we are worshiping, the God who created all of that.
That's right.
Yeah.
How amazing is that? God made me to go to church. Growing up, I had a little friend that was, I just remember he had a porch swing on the back of his porch, and one day it was raining and we were outside playing. It started raining and we went in and we just kind of sat on his porch swing. We started swinging, and I wasn't saved at the time. I was probably weeks from being saved. Didn't know God personally, and he was saved. He had just gotten saved. He had been going to VBS. His mom and dad made him go to VBS. And so he invited me to VBS that night, and I went to VBS with them, and I got a little more taste of what God is all about. Now, Mom made me come to church, and I went to Greenhills in this little block building down the church, painted white, still painted white, and that's where I got saved. Well, actually, that's where I made my confession. I actually got saved in a car at Brown Dawson Funeral Home over here, and I could probably take you pretty close to the parking spot where I got saved. But that's where it all began for me. When I got to know God, when I realized that Jesus died for me, and God made me to come to church. I'm so glad my mom made me come to church, but God made me come to church. That's my purpose. That's what he created us for. That's all I have, Terry. Come and get a song. That's what I want to share. There's other things. I wish I would have dug into this. Tim texted me this morning. He said, "Hey, you going to be at church tonight?" And I said, "Well, honestly, Tim, we were going to come to church tonight." I said, "But I would just rather sit back." I said, "If you're going to ask me to preach, I'd rather just sit back and listen. I need to be fed." And he said, "Well, I'm not going to be there tonight." I said, "Well, we'll do what we can." And I immediately thought of that thought that Kenny had shared Sunday morning. God has a purpose. When he planted that seed on that, I told Kenny that'd be a good message. I didn't do it justice. I'd like somebody else to pick it up, or maybe me spend a little more time other than a few minutes before church to really study that out. There's so much in that, and I'm sure you all can relate. It feels good to come to church. It feels good to worship God. And we don't have to be here to worship God. We can worship God anywhere. I was worshiping him in the car on the way to the job this morning. God's good to us. He's always with us. He's never going to leave us. He's never going to forsake us. No matter how much we falter,
You know, the other thing I told Tim, I said, Tim, I haven't been to a Wednesday night service in a long time. I said, I don't want it to look bad that the reason I'm here is because I'm preaching. He said, don't worry about it. So we'll be here, well, I'll be in Tennessee next Wednesday night, but I'll be here the following Wednesday night. And we need to get back here on Wednesday night. So staying with us, we'll give a verse of invitation. I know it was a really, really short message. Maybe I should have preached this other one that Tim left behind.
Page 120.
Do you have anything you need to pray about?
I heard an old story how a Savior came from glory. How he gave his life on Calvary to save a wretch like me. I heard about his groaning, of his precious blood atoning. And I repented of my sins and won the victory. Oh, victory in Jesus, my Savior forever. He taught me and he bought me with his redeeming blood. He loved me ere I knew him, and all my love is through him. He plunged me to victory beneath the cleansing flood.
Thank you, Terry. Does anybody have a testimony or anything they want to share this evening? I know it was, my part was short.
And it makes me sad. And I don't know how to put this story and figure out how I can get back in Sunday school before high school class not too long ago. I mentioned I wasn't made to go to church, but I wanted to go to church.
Yeah.
And it seemed like every friend that I had when I was growing up, you know, when you grow up, you have at different stages of your life, you hang out with different people and stuff. I hung out with one brother at Catholic church before. I went to Nazarene church before. Everyone but Baptist. Then when I reached 14, the age of 14, nobody in my family went to church. I went with my grandma and Timer too. I heard this story years ago that my mom was raised Baptist and Papa was holiness. And the only way they could keep peace between the two of them was not go. They would figure out which church they wanted to raise the kids in, so they didn't go. So that my mom, that generation, did not go to church. But I guess I was created for a purpose. And like I said, when I reached the age of 14, two of my neighbor girls that I went to school with, I didn't know them, but I knew of them, asked me to go to church with them. That they did. I felt like I belonged at that point. Up until then, I thought these people were crazy, you know, non-denominational. I'm serious. Every type of church you could go to, I hung out with more kids that went, that their parents made them go.
Yep.
I mean, even when we went to family reunions, my mom had sisters that were there, and my family stayed away from them because they would be preached at for not going to church. It breaks my heart because in my heart, I thought, you know, I guess I longed for that. I really don't know, but there was something in